Breath of the Wild 2 is heavily anticipated for a number of reasons when it comes to Zelda fans and Nintendo fans. And one of the reasons on why it's so heavily anticipated is that thanks to the second trailer, it looks like it's going to solve a problem that plagued the first game. And I'm talking enemies and enemy design. While Breath of the Wild had some pretty good enemy AI, the number of designs and variation when it comes to these enemies left quite a lot to be desired. But thanks to the Breath of the Wild 2 E3 2021 trailer, we got the confirmation of a couple of new enemy variations. And while it's not a lot so far, these variations can confirm something huge when it comes to all of the enemies that we could see possibly in Breath of the Wild 2. What's up, Zelda fans? It's your boy HMK once again with another Breath of the Wild 2 video. We're back in full drive when it comes to hyping up and discussing the game. 2022 can't come any sooner, so if you're ready to talk about these new enemies, be sure to like, share, and subscribe while hitting that bell to know when my videos go live. Alright guys, strap on in for the safety of hype, let's dive directly into the noise. One thing we gotta make note of is that we got two new enemy variations when it comes to Breath of the Wild 2, and each of these variations seem to be found in some of the new regions that we'll be exploring in the game. The skies above Hyrule and the caverns below Hyrule. The first variation that we see in the skies is some sort of green optical robotic enemy that to me looks an awful lot like an Igor. But unlike Igors, this seems to be a lot more mechanical in nature. While Igors are more like enchanted statues, but this could still be considered an enchanted statue. And while this indeed looks to be an enemy, I don't think it's particularly evil. I think that these enemies here up in the sky are going to be more challenge or trial based, created and dispatched by divine arbiters. While I've seen a lot of people say they look very akin to that of Beamos, I honestly get huge Godan vibes. You know, the boss that we see in The Wind Waker. A giant mechanical monstrosity that was built in order to challenge the hero. And this was located where? Near the top of the Tower of the Gods. An area that seems to be the closest to the sky in The Wind Waker? That's right, I think this mysterious enemy that we see in the skies of Breath of the Wild 2 is indeed crafted by the goddesses, aiming to challenge the hero and possibly guard items or abilities meant for the hero that only the hero can dispatch these enemies. Furthermore, it seems that these enemies are going to be powered by the same green energy that is found within Link's new arm, suggesting a divine connection. That Link himself may be calling upon the power of the gods in a more direct way than the Sheikah Slate, with the possibility of this green being true divinity when compared to that of the Sheikah technology, which could be derived divinity. And that is one new enemy variation that we see in the sky. Another enemy variation that is new to Breath of the Wild is found in what could be the underground. And now we come to this weird ooey gooey boy. Now I know what you're thinking. There's actually a couple of enemies that come to mind when we try to figure out whatever this thing is. The first of which is that this reminds me a lot of those parasitic tentacles that we see inside of Jabu Jabu's belly in Ocarina of Time. And while those are parasitic and organic in nature, this enemy seems more stone-like. Or perhaps it's a parasite that's using stone-like camouflage. Another enemy that this reminds me of that this could be a huge callback to are Dexa Vines that we see in The Wind Waker. But this would be one beefy Dexa Vine. However, when it comes to those enemies and what this could be, whatever it could be in the underground, I honestly think that this might be a slightly new variation or spin on the like-likes. Considering its tube-like body is very like, and that this enemy's intention seems to be to swallow Link whole, I feel that this could be one of a couple of new variations that we see in Breath of the Wild 2 that could reintroduce a like-likes to this new booming Zelda community, especially given that this enemy seems to be attracted to Link's shield. Fatal mistake there, my friend. But remember what I said in the beginning of the video, how these variations seem to be contrasting in locations? A new enemy found in the sky, a new enemy found below the ground? Well, to me, the presentation of this contrast tells me that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have a lot of new variations when it comes to enemies, both above and below the ground. Divine enemies and demonic enemies. With this mysterious robot representing divine enemies and this nasty looking tentacle thing representing fiend-like demonic enemies. or perhaps cursed undead enemies. I mean, Breath of the Wild 2 shows Ganondorf resurrecting somehow. And while these two new enemies are new as a whole, we got some slightly new enemy variations when it comes to Goblins and Moblins. Specifically, there are horns, which suggest both either a time skip present within Breath of the Wild 2 or a power-up, possibly thanks to Ganondorf reawakening. But if we also compile this fact with Bokoblins now building on top of stone taluses, it suggests more towards the line of a time skip. But hey, both can be true. And with the idea of a time skip, I feel that's the rise of a new subject for a new video. So if you enjoyed this one, please like, share, most importantly subscribe to HMK to know when my videos go live when you hit that bell. Also leave a comment on what you thought of the video and what you would like to see in a future Breath of the Wild 2 breakdown. And remember, YouTube members now gain lifetime access to my Discord server. Alright guys, until the next Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 video, this has been your boy HMK, and I'll check you guys later.